Have you ever had that moment when something you thought you knew your whole life suddenly changes, and you see it from a completely new perspective? Today, we are going to live one of those moments together. Think about the story of Adam and Eve. You know it well. God creates Adam, puts him in a deep sleep, takes something from his side, and creates Eve. It is a story that has been told countless times, painted by great masters, and used to explain the deep connection between man and woman. But what if I told you that this very familiar story holds a secret that has been hidden in plain sight for centuries? Here is something that might surprise you. In the original Hebrew text of Genesis, the word we have translated as rib appears in many other places in the Bible, and in almost all of those cases, it means something completely different, something that could transform our understanding of God's original design for humanity. This is not just about correcting a translation. It is about discovering a truth that could change the way you see yourself, your relationships, and God's incredible plan for human connection. What we are about to explore challenges centuries of tradition, but reveals something far more beautiful than we could have ever imagined. Hidden within these ancient words is a message of profound equality, unity, and divine purpose. A message that was there all along but became obscured by time, translations, and tradition. In the next few minutes, we will return to the Hebrew text and discover what God may have actually taken from Adam's side and, more importantly, why this revelation matters so much to us today. Whether you are a lifelong believer, a curious skeptic, or someone who simply loves to uncover hidden truths, I promise you that this story will challenge your assumptions and maybe even change the way you view God's design for humans. Before you begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video so you don't miss out on more explorations like this one. It is an easy way to stay connected and support this type of content. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's dive deep into one of the most misunderstood stories in the Bible, because sometimes the biggest revelations come from the smallest details, and this one has been waiting thousands of years to be rediscovered. Let us start with the story as most of us learned it. It is found in Genesis chapter 2, and it goes something like this. God creates Adam, the first human being, and places him in the Garden of Eden. But something is not quite right. Among all the creatures on earth, Adam finds no suitable mate. No one who truly matches him, understands him, or can share life with him as his equal. Then God does something extraordinary. He causes Adam to fall into a deep sleep, the first recorded surgery in history, so to speak. And while Adam sleeps, God takes something from his body, a part of his side. From this, God creates a woman. When Adam wakes up and sees her for the first time, he is overwhelmed with joy, declaring, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh." It is a beautiful story that, for generations, has shaped how we think about marriage, the connection between men and women, and why we feel this deep and inexplicable pull toward companionship. We have built entire theological frameworks around this idea that Eve was created from a part of Adam. Artists have painted her, poets have written about her, and countless wedding sermons have mentioned her. This image of Eve being formed from Adam's side has become one of the most enduring symbols of human history. But this is where things get fascinating. By focusing so much on the rib, we have missed something bigger, something more fundamental to God's original design. When we go back to the original Hebrew text and examine the words that God inspired, we find something that could change everything. Let us consider the Hebrew word traditionally translated as rib. That word is tzila, pronounced tselah. This word does not appear only in Genesis. It is used in many other places in the Bible, about 40 times, to be exact. And here is the amazing part. In almost all of those cases, it does not mean rib. It means side. For instance, in Exodus chapter 26, the same word is used to describe the sides of the tabernacle, the holy place where the presence of God dwelt. In 1 Kings chapter 6, it refers to the sides of Solomon's temple. In Exodus chapter 25, it describes the sides of the Ark of the Covenant. Think about this for a moment. In describing these sacred structures, the places where God's presence resided, the writers used the same word that appears in the creation of Eve. Not a small part, not a fragment, but a whole side. So how did we end up with rib? This is where the story of translation gets interesting. When the Hebrew Bible was translated into Greek in the 3rd century BCE, in what we call the Septuagint, the word tsila was translated as pleura, a Greek word that can mean side or rib. Later, when Jerome translated the Bible into Latin in the 4th century CE, he chose the word costa, which specifically means rib. With one simple choice of translation, the understanding of the creation of Eve began to change. What was originally described as God taking Adam's side became God taking a single rib. This difference is significant. Adam exclaims, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh." He does not say, "This is bone of my bone," as if referring to just one rib. Instead, he recognizes something much deeper. Eve was created from his very essence, his equal half. This changes everything. If Eve was created from Adam's side, not a rib, it transforms our understanding of relationships. It challenges centuries of traditions that have shaped views of gender roles, emphasizing unity, equality, and mutual respect. It is not about hierarchy or dominance. It is about harmony, two equal parts coming together to form a whole. This understanding aligns with Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. Both man and woman reflect the image of God, equally and uniquely. This insight reshapes not just theology but relationships, marriage, friendship, and community. It calls for mutual respect, unity, and equality. The creation account reveals a God of relationships, who designed humanity to stand side by side. Whether you are a man or woman, this profound truth reminds us all of our equal value and shared purpose in God's design. If you like this content, please subscribe, click in the like button and on the bell. That will help up to bring more academic easy content like this. The Creator bless your mind and spirit.